Just to start off, tell me what has surprised you most in your first year so far?
Well, I've gotten around the state a lot in this first year. I've traveled, I'm going to say 44 to 45 of the 88 counties. And I anticipated this, but I'm going to say it's a little bit of a surprise. People in the state of Ohio are paying attention to what's going on at The Ohio State University. And it's not just athletics. Yes, we're the flagship. Yes, everybody's a Buckeye football fan. I sense that. It doesn't matter what university you're at. You still root for the Buckeyes. But people care deeply about their flagship university, and they're proud of it. And we've seen that in a recent survey where over 72% of Ohioans said they have high confidence in Ohio State. That's not the trend nationally. So people in the state of Ohio care about their flagship.
There's a lot to be proud
Yes.
of when you hear that.
And a lot of responsibility that goes with that.
That's very true. I know listening sessions have been a big part of your first year. What did you learn from those sessions, and what have you implemented based on what you've heard?
So the entire strategy framework that we unveiled 2 weeks ago at my investiture was built on those listening sessions, respecting our past, but also understanding that we're going to have to make some adjustments for what's going to make us successful in the future. You know, a relentless pursuit of academic excellence. We're so good in many programs. We have, you know, gold standards in programs like nursing and veterinary medicine and even some of our engineering programs. How do we lift our other academic programs that are not necessarily best of breed to be to that same standard? So that's something that's a common theme across our faculty and our staff and our board. Affordability, as good as we are, you know, 58% of our undergraduates leave today with no debt. That's 20% better than the national average. Is that good enough to just try to sustain that? I think we have to do better. I mean, there's 1.5 million fewer students in universities across the country from just 8 years ago, and it's principally they're telling us it costs too much. Now, as a public university where we principally serve Ohioans, where over 70% of our students are from the state of Ohio, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're not only taking care of students with merit-based aid, but with financial aid. So we're going to continue to look at our scholarship programs and see how we can make those even better than they already are. The type of research that we do, we're on the rise. I mean, we're number 11 in the nation, and we'll have new rankings coming out. We're likely to pass $1.5 billion in federal, state, and research dollars. But more important than that is just the numbers, is what is it doing? What is it doing to change and to save lives, particularly for Ohioans? I think that's part of our land grant mission. Creating a culture here that attracts the right type of talent and retains it. I want to be the employer of choice in the state of Ohio. I mean, we're the largest employer in central Ohio. We're one of the biggest in the entire state. But again, beyond our size, when we have an opening, I want to see 10 people compete for that opening. And then when we get them here, I want to make sure that we're giving them the best health care opportunities, compensate them correctly so that they don't want to leave. So those are some of the things. And then, of course, we're a $10 to $11 billion operation annually. This is a massive airplane that we have to be able to fly, correct, repair, and restore, and improve all at the same time. So all those things are very important. And, you know, I'll just mention athletics. We've been talking about it. I listed it as one of my themes in the strategic framework. We might be the only university that's willing to talk about that, but that's because I want us to be a leader in this space. And as you saw yesterday, our athletic director, Ross Bjork, put out a statement about how we're going to live in this House versus the NCAA world when that court case is settled. It will probably be a little bit different than that, but we're going to keep all 36 Division I sports. We're going to have scholarships in all of our sports. And ultimately, we want to retain the student-athlete model for the NCAA and for college athletics. Because at the end of the day, if our students just become employees or only come to get paid to play sports, then we just become a farm system for the NFL or the NBA or whatever, Major League Baseball, whatever. That's not what we want to be. Our students are going to leave here and become professionals, but not necessarily in athletics. And the graduation rate and the success rate of our athletes is higher than any other cohort or any other group. And we should be proud of that. We don't talk enough about that. We just had our academic numbers come out yesterday. I mean, we've got 10 programs with 100% graduation rate. Our women's hockey team at 3.85 GPA. it's remarkable what we're doing in the academic side of our athletics. So we want to make sure that we're a leader in that space too.
You've spent time in these listening sessions with students, faculty, staff. What about parents? What have you heard from parents, or have you incorporated parents into these listening sessions?
I have. I've been on a number of listening sessions with parents from the day I got here, continue to do that, and even on the day of convocation. I crawled all over the campus, meeting with parents from out of state, in state, and just saying hello, being approachable, listening to them. Of course, safety is a concern, and that's something that I want to make sure they know that I care deeply about. We continue to invest in safety. We've added more additional high-definition cameras to the 5,000 that we have on campus that looks at every door to make sure that we know who's coming and going. We've got license plate readers. We've increased our patrols, our collaboration with Columbus City Police, as well as State Highway Patrol, and even creating more opportunities for our students to get free cab rides so they can be safe, particularly after 9 p.m. And then continuing to educate our students so they can help keep themselves safe. Incidents do and will probably still continue to happen, but we want to anticipate to minimize those. And one bad incident is one too many. But I want parents to know how much I care. When they send their sons and daughters here, I want to be able to look them in the eye and say, we care enough to make sure that you trust us to take good care of your sons and daughters. And that includes everything from the challenges of living in the dorms. I mean, something that's been in the news. We're being responsive, and we're going to make sure that we keep our students safe.
Tell us about that. What are you hearing from parents and students about the possibility of mold in Lawrence Tower, and where do things stand with that situation at this point?
Yeah. So we were very reactive as soon as we understood that. We bounded the problem. And as I told my team, I said, let's make sure we understand the scope and magnitude of the problem. Where we have obvious place where somebody may not be safe, let's make sure that we find them other living spaces. And we did that. We moved 40 students almost immediately. And then we did spend a lot of time. We've brought in our own world-class third-party health safety inspectors to check the air quality and all the rooms surrounding. And we're getting to all of those rooms. And those reports have been very positive in terms of the air quality. But we've also given students the opportunity, if they don't feel safe there, even if it's just how they feel, then we're going to find another place for them to live. And we can handle that, all of them. So all of our students will be given the opportunity where they're living in safe spaces to finish out the academic semester, if they choose. And then by the beginning of the spring semester, we plan to move everybody out so that we can restore, make sure we know exactly what we've got in that building, and we've got places for them, and we've got plans for that. But let me just finish with one other thought. We have 1,300 buildings, facilities, dorms, barns, labs, facilities for athletics. It's a very large, complex, set of buildings. A lot of times our faculty and our students are the first ones to notice when something's not right. And I just want to make sure they know if it doesn't look right to them, it doesn't look right to us. So talk to us about it, and we will be responsive and reactive. I mean, a burst pipe, yep, that's going to happen. So I'm proud of the way our team has handled it. It didn't always come out as the right story. Nobody wants to hear about, mushrooms and mold. We'll take care of all that, and we'll make sure our students stay safe.
When you and I spoke before, I asked you what you saw as one of the biggest challenges that you might face as president of The Ohio State University, and you said the value of a higher education degree, why a 4-year degree matters. Have you found that to be your biggest challenge, or did something else present itself since you've been on campus now?
I would say strategically, as I look out over the next 10 years, what's really going to matter, I still would say that theme is front and center. There are very few universities in the country that are going to change the dialogue about what it means to be in the future of higher education. And I said that at the investiture. The future of higher education is coming through Ohio State University, and I want us to be the model for the nation, which means we have to be mission focused on what it means to create the next great citizenry of the state of Ohio and for the nation. We have to be able to anticipate what the future workforce needs are going to be. The jobs of 2030, most of them haven't been invented yet. So how are we going to be dynamic in our academic curriculum and offerings to anticipate that? How do we stay affordable? How do we go against that conversation that it costs too much to go to university? And I would just say, finally, we want to be the destination where students and faculty and staff want to be. We have a great experience here on campus. We welcome everybody. We have a place for everybody here, and we can make everybody feel safe here and get a degree and be successful as they go on to that next chapter in their life. So I'm excited about creating that environment here. We've got most of it here already. We're just going to have to put some different tweaks and some different investments in programs to ultimately get what we know is going to be the future for higher education.
We heard you share about excellence is not a destination, that it's an expectation, which really focuses more on the process rather than the result. So how do you measure success then if we're focused on the process and not the result?
Yeah, I kind of talked about graduation rates are often a little bit looking backwards because it's what do students do with their degree afterwards. Sometimes it takes 3, 5, 10 years to realize, did that investment really return? But all that said, if something's worth doing, it's also worth measuring. So as we build out the details of this plan and our targets and our objectives, we're going to measure them and we're going to be transparent about it. And I've also said the plan will be dynamic. So we'll make changes to better achieve our objectives. So, sometimes it takes a little while. So even to see a difference in what it means to go from an 88 to a 91% graduation rate, which might not even seem all that much, it's a huge deal. But it could take years to see that. So we'll do the analytics to make sure that we're achieving our objectives. And that's what I think is really important here.
But in that quote, excellence is not a destination, it's an expectation. Why do you think that phrase is so important for this university?
Yeah, if I was going to pick the one line in my investiture that I hope people will remember, I'm glad you've said it twice, because I actually wrote that myself. And I've been in institutions, I've been in organizations that have a culture of excellence. So I know what that's like. Sometimes that's a little bit on the subjective side as opposed to the objective. But once you can inculcate that within an organization and make sure that you empower your leaders to do what you know is their best job and give them the resources to do it, it will start to take care of itself. And when you have this idea that excellence and the relentless pursuit of it, and academics first because everything else will tend to follow from there, it will start to become part of everything that you do. It's the standard, and that's just how you operate. We have that in so many pockets here already. We've got just a little bit of work now to get it throughout the entire institution.
We have a very robust military-connected community on campus, and you and I have talked about that before. How can we expand on those opportunities and access even more to our military-connected families and veterans as well?
Yeah, this is so important. Less than 1/2 of our American population is active duty in the military today. So you and I have talked about how small our military has gotten, but yet, when you look at the veteran population across the country, we're still at around 7%. And there isn't an American who doesn't know a veteran or have a veteran connection. We're a top 25 program in the country for being veteran friendly. I'm proud of that. I want us to be number one, and I stated that. And so you have to start getting into the details of what does that mean. So that's not just about access, it's not just about success of our veterans that decide to either come, be part of our in-person experience, but it's also how can we better serve their families, how can we be a better service to the community. I mean, Wright-Patterson is one of the largest Air Force communities in the country. I want to make sure our relationship with that community, the National Guard here, is also very strong. Today, about 200,000 men and women are transitioning out of uniform from active duty service. Who's taking care of them? There was a time where the Phoenix Universities of the world were the easy button for those veterans where 75% of them that getting out of uniform want a higher education degree. Those type of academic opportunities are starting to atrophy. Even the Department of Defense is not supporting those programs as they were 10, 15 years ago. I want Ohio State to fill that void. And some of our other flagships. We won't just do it alone. And that means that we've got to think of more robust remote programs because a lot of those veterans are not going to necessarily come to our campus because they can't or they're going to work, but they still want to finish out an undergraduate degree or get a master's degree. And I wanted them to think of Ohio State as their first choice.
Before you even arrived, you spoke very highly of the board here. Have you found the balance of the board, the many powerful donors that are a part of this university and your vision. How have you found that balance?
We are very fortunate to have one of the most talented board of trustees that I've seen in the nation. That's a big statement. And I still believe that. I believe that when I came here, and I can now say I validate it because I've been through so many board meetings very passionate about Ohio State. This is where we have to get an alignment. And I would tell you that we have achieved that. The board trusts the plan that we're building. We're keeping them very informed. They're involved in the strategy that we're creating beyond just the policy and the fiduciary oversight. So I'm excited about the board. And I'm really excited about the student membership that we have on our board too. This is one of the few boards where our students not only serve more than 1 year, they serve 2 years, but their votes tally in the counts. That's not true in many other academic institutions. So as I work with the board, and then in particular as I work with our advancement and development teams on the philanthropic side of the university, again, this is one of the strongest of any institutions I've seen in the country. It's really powerful. We are able to do things through philanthropy that go beyond the precious tax dollars that we get from the great people of Ohio that will make us stand out. I mean, I honestly believe working with the philanthropic community and the medical community, we could be approaching a cancer-free society coming from the work that we're going to do at the James Comprehensive Cancer Center over the next 10 years. That's how powerful working with organizations like Pelotonia and the private philanthropic community can be. And then you add on top of that, bringing in an Intel, where we're going to create the Silicon Valley of the Midwest. And what that means, working with a powerful industry partner combined with a consortium of other academic institutions and the private philanthropic community. The opportunities here going into the future, particularly when you overlay artificial intelligence and where we want to be a leader in that space, are going to put us out in front of just about any other academic institution in the country. That's why I believe large public land-grant R1 universities are the future of higher education in this country.
Let's talk some sports now. Yeah. This is going to be your first time being on campus for the game.
Yeah.
You're not new to intense rivalry. We know that with the Navy-Army rivalry, of course, but especially a rivalry in sports. Why is a rivalry like Ohio State and that team up north so special and a good thing?
That type of intensity, rivalry, just what makes being on campus so exciting and fun. People live for this. I'm really happy that my first visit to the game is at home on a season that is an exceptional one. We've got a big game coming up this weekend, so we can't look through number 5 undefeated Indiana to get to the game. But no, I'm really excited. I'm excited about what's going to be in our postseason too.
What have you seen with our football team that stands out the most to you? This is an exceptional group.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of being with Coach Day and our football team. I was with them from the hotel all the way to the end at the Penn State game. I was on the sidelines with them during the goal line stand and the running of the ball to hold onto the ball for the last 5 minutes. I would just tell you, I've seen a level of intensity and professionalism that makes me believe that we are well coached and we are prepared.
What is your prediction when we face that team up north?
Victory. Simple. I think we're a better team this year. We're better prepared. We're at home. Our fans are going to be the X factor in that game. I'm excited for it. We're going to reverse a 3-year trend, and that victory is going to feel very sweet.
As you are wrapping up your first year, you told me this is the job you didn't know you were training for all your life. How do you continue that training?
Well, every day that I come to work, first of all, people should know how excited I am just to come to campus and to work with an amazing team at my cabinet level, the deans, the faculty, the students, the staff. This is an amazing place. And I go back to that statement. I had no idea that in my life I would be the president of The Ohio State University. Never imagined it. But every day that I'm here, I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really proud to wear that block O on my lapel and be a representative and just be part of that team. And I'm still learning every day. I have a curiosity for learning at this point in my life that'll never wane, and that I think will be part of what will help us be successful. I like working collaboratively across the team. I like hearing different ideas and thoughts. I've asked people to send us ideas for how we can further the mission here at Ohio State. So yeah, it's an exciting time in my life and here at the university.
Anything we didn't talk about that you would like to share?
I'm excited about our men's soccer team. Yeah, #1 in the country going to the tournament. I think that's going to be an exciting time for them. And I'm continue to be excited about some of our other sports programs. We didn't talk too much about Carmenton and the development out there. That's something we just approved on our board. We intend to build the research triangle for the country out there with that 350 acres over the next 10 years. So that's going to be an exciting part of our portfolio as well.
There's a lot to look forward to.
There is. Yeah, we'll be talking more as we go.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.